Alright, so this is a little side story. So when I was in boring ass Kansas for college during my '06 or '07 years, we had the whole damn campus saying one of Jack's chants. $700 now. I stayed in the dorms with a group of gay dudes. Our dorm was known as the gay dorm. One of the guys named Tum Tum is from Philly and he would go on to do very well for himself. He stayed with us in the gay dorm. He ran track with Daryl. I think he was in the barroom scene too. Tum Tum, I am so proud of you. I knew you would turn out great because you were always something special. He had cancer too, by the way. He has always been a beautiful man and so damn funny. Well, we would have these ballroom DVDs, and one of them was of Sanaya voguing in 2003. She was on the panel at first, but Jack called her down to Vogue. As she started voguing, Jack started chanting, $700, $700, Sanaya, the legend starts, Naya, the legend starts, $700, $700. I love Jack. It was so catchy that the straight boys started saying it. One of the hoopers hit a game winning 3-point basket and had the nerve to say $700 now as the ball went in. They was all saying it, even though most of them didn't even know where it came from. Some did know because everybody hung around everybody. We went to school in the middle of Kansas. I always thought tumbleweed was something that you would have seen in movies. No. We were surrounded by farms where the cows were processed for beef. I will never forget that smell. Oh my God. So we had to make our own fun. Hence the one time I did drag for Halloween. Plus, I was the one that cooked for the parties we, the gays, would throw. So all the boys would come to our parties anyway because of the girls that was going to be there and the food. I will never forget how one of them told me how grown up he hated gay people, but I changed his mind. He went on to say if it wasn't for me and the food I would cook, there would have been nights that he would have went hungry. Come to find out, it was the first time he actually got to know a gay person, and he's seen that we are not all the same. No, I did not have him, because I know how the community is. I have always been the type, if you say you are straight, I respect that. Anyway, I got off topic. Let me get back to talking about the show on Bingo, hosted by one of the fathers in the ballroom scene. His show was great in my opinion. He had other house fathers that were co-hosts, and it gave his show a men's section vibe. He would talk about the drama that happened at the balls, but that was not the main focus. And this is what I like most about his show. On one of his shows, the topic of non binary slash non gender conforming came up. Baby, none of these people that were trying to explain what non binary is were on the same page because they all had a different definition for it. The one comment that I will never forget is when the one person said, on Monday, I might feel like a man, and on Tuesday, I might feel like a woman. I guess that was their way of explaining what non binary is. I remember thinking to myself, it still doesn't make sense because you are still conforming to a gender. If you are biologically born a male, you would even be conforming to your assigned gender at birth on Monday when you might feel like a man. To me, it gave very much confusion, and I just remember having to go smoke a blunt to unclog all of the confusion I had just heard. Now, I understand that we all have different views, but I just want to know when are people going to wake up and realize that there is no such thing as equality? You know what's sad? Most men who think like the gay dating coach I spoke about earlier will be the first in line for reparations, which was a black issue. Slavery was not just a gay issue because guess what? Gay, white, and Asian men did not go through slavery. Even in the gay community, we are fetishized for our BBCs, big black cocks. And one of the key words is black. I, I really was planning on speaking on this further along in the book, but when this incident occurred, it was a right on time kind of moment. I've gotten way off topic. Earlier, I was speaking about my family. Now, where was I? Oh, right. I was speaking about my mom. I love my mom. We had the funniest conversations. I have always been pretty open with my mom. She usually knows everything about me. I am so thankful to her and my dad for coming together. Go figure. To have me. She could not not she could have not even met my dad, and that means she would have never had Dewan or me. I remember her telling me that she always knew that she was a lesbian, but she did not but she did want to get married and have kids. I have always said that she deserved better than my dad. I think he really did love her. I know she had to love him. You can't really find that loyalty in people, especially today. It's crazy how the most loyal people come across these damaged narcissists, like this tourist that I recently came across. Not too many people are going to stick around while their partner uses drugs, having to come home to an empty house, literally, and cheats slash has baby after baby on the partner. I just think my dad is very insecure. He like a lot of men from his time do not know how to express his emotions. I would almost feel sorry for him, but his attitude has always been so poor that I really can't feel sorry for him. The last time we spoke, we got into an argument because I would not share him appearing in some music video on my Facebook. I told you all how this man would not support what I know to be true about this Bible. I would give him lessons and he would not read them. He would even try to tear me down, but now you want me to share what you do? Man, please, fuck out of here. Oh, and he brought up how I didn't see Dewan recently when he was in Minneapolis. I was like, dude, you haven't even been to see Dewan since he been in North Carolina. Nor did you see him when he graduated, so you need to be more concerned about you seeing Dewan. This is coming from a man that would not even listen to his own son, Dewan, who professionally builds houses from the ground up, has his own team in Hull, about the black mold that was growing in his new home. He got a new home and his dream car, a used Corvette and Benz. He also had a brand new Wrangler, but still repeated the same lazy patterns of leaving the upstairs unfinished to the point where you could see the pink installation, the wood, and the drywall, just like in the back room that Dewan slept in at the old house. Once again, it felt like he was just looking for a little anything to argue with me about the last day we spoke. I told him that I had closed a karmic cycle with him and that I'm done trying to have a relationship with him. Not just him though. I don't care who it is. I am no longer letting people put me down. I am no longer living my life for other people. I am no longer trying to fit into a community that swears it's safe, but bullying and violence among each other says different. Anyway, back to my mom. DJ play Family Portrait by Pink. My mom appears to be a humble, sweet, and loving person, but she has her ways too. She didn't do drugs. She was a square like me growing up. She played basketball and she worked at different hospitals as a nurse aide. She also did private duty. I love my mom and we were very close. I think she tried her best with the hands she was dealt. I will never forget how she had to borrow money from my grandmother just so Dwan and I would have a Christmas. My dad was cheap as hell unless he was doing things for himself. I know it's hard for single moms, but imagine having a man in the home that's just stingy, cheap, and mean as hell. I do wish she would have not I do wish she would have not started and quit a few projects, Mary Kay, and school to become a registered nurse, because I truly believe she is very talented. I believe she would have went far with Mary Kay. She was really good. She could bowl her ass off. I think I get my people skills from my mom. The ability to make friends, in parentheses, if I choose to, comes from my mom. I believe I get my funny side from my mom too. She has a beautiful smile and beautiful eyes, but she was not as beautiful the one time she came to pick me up from school, but I had got into a fight. She had come into the office and she was in the middle of taking her hair down. She had gotten those poetic justice braids like the girls was wearing back in the 90s. I believe she was in her PJs and robes, so she was not happy. Oh yeah, she tried to drown me. She has tried to drown me before on our trip to Vegas, but I just wouldn't die. Hold on, and I have pictures. You can't see her face in this, so I am gonna show this. Yeah, she a few times. See, and then this is me after she tried to drown me. So yeah, it's been like that. I just won't die. I am joking, but she did almost kill my ass in Vegas. We were in the pool playing around, and my mom cannot swim. I agreed to go under the water with her on 3, but she was holding me. She did not count to 3 and went down before I was ready. Baby, the whole inside of my body filled up with water. I damn near drowned. It was so funny. I still have the pics from our family Vegas trips. So don't get me wrong. We did do stuff as a family. My mom and dad did do stuff like go on vacation. There was good times, but I think the bad outweighed the good. She taught me how to cook. I learned to not seek value in materials because of my mom, and I am definitely grateful for that. I can see why she quit things that she would start. Like I said, my dad will make you want to give up, and you almost don't want his support because he is not inspirational, nor positive, nor constructive. He would talk about her so bad, about everything from her weight to her even starting smoking cigarettes, which she probably started smoking cigarettes in order to deal with his self-entitled, male chauvinistic, idiotic, want to be holier than thou, but nothing more than a deacon freakum's illiterate ass. Speaking of being male chauvinistic, what kind of idiot is proud to admit to being male chauvinistic? Now that I'm older and I know what I know, my dad was the embarrassment this whole time. My mom was faithful to my dad, and while she is not perfect, I do hold my dad responsible for breaking my mother's spirit, which opened the door for her to explore other lifestyles. I do believe if he would have been better to her as a husband, she would have she would never have divorced him. Parentheses. I mean, she stuck with him through drugs and other babies. But how much can a person take? He is a narcissist, a professional victim that blames others, always volunteering her to make the food dishes that are the most time consuming for a bunch of fat ass unappreciative hogs at that church. She had to deal with shade from fake ass phony ass church folk from his side of the family. I'm thankful that their union produced me, but man, sometimes I would think to myself, Mom, why didn't you choose a better man instead of a whack ass wannabe singer in a whack ass group where most of the members were crackheads, putting up with a crackhead that brought her nothing but misery and curable STDs. Then got the nerve to strut around like he is so much when he is so damn hollow. You can almost see through all that damn beige. Today, my mother is a lesbian married to a white woman who I did have love for and raising 6 adopted kids. I did try to warn her not to adopt because her kids are grown. I knew the kids would become a burden on her as she got older. I felt like she and her wife had raised their kids. Raising these kids would slow them down at a point in time in their lives where they should be relaxing, traveling, and enjoying each other. These kids are not her bloodline, so they might come with inherited behavioral issues, and they did. Today, there are 3 of the kids that have moved out of the nest. Hell, after all that she has been through, if she says she's happy, I'm happy with that. It is her life. Excuse me. I still love her. I will never forget the day my mom told me she was a lesbian. I was 16 and she had divorced my dad for a second time. I moved with her to help her with the bills and stuff. I knew she had been spending time with her wife, but she had white friends in the past that she was very close with. One of her friends gave me the money to buy Tekken 2 and took me to Toys R Us to buy it. My dad would get mad when my mom spent too much time with her friends. They all had husbands and kids, like she did at the time, so I didn't think anything of her being around her now wife. Her wife even gifted me my first car. It was a 1996 green Chevy Cavalier that burned out. This was the car I stole gas in and was running up to Detroit, being a little fast. I also went to Chicago, hence my dad asking me one day, who was all these people calling from DC, New York? I was a little fast. This was when I was staying with him at the time, around 2003 or 2004, right before I got a cell phone. When my mom first told me she was a lesbian, I didn't know how to feel, but I remember feeling mad, and I was upset, but never to the point where I would stop speaking to her. My brother Dwan and her own mom did stop speaking to her for a moment, but no one said anything to her out of the way. Let me tell you something. I don't play about my mama, and everyone knows you mess with Sarah and it's instant burn to a fucking crisp. Baby, you will see something. I don't know what or who you will see, but you will see something playing with my mama. Everyone knows this, and if you didn't, you do now. I just wish she had the same energy for me, but she doesn't. She will choose others over me in a second. One day, recently in 2022, my mother and I were having a conversation where she told me that a long time ago she had got a tarot reading done. I believe that in this reading, the reader told her about my destiny, which led her to pull cards on me over the years. I do believe that my mom secretly did things, witchcraft, hexing, to try to block my destiny. I do believe she knew, just like my father and a few others in my family, that I'm spiritually gifted. Now, I would never even think that my mom would be into tarot readings, but it all makes sense today. She was told that one day I would find real love and be very successful doing things that she nor my dad would never accomplish. I believe this drove her to have some sort of secret resentment towards me because of her failed marriage with my dad. It was only secret to me what my cousin Marcus, Kiki, was doing, in parentheses, molesting kids, even though he was a kid himself. It was rumored that he had done it to other kids in the family. I just didn't know about it. I was a child anyway, so it's not like I would have understood. Maybe I would have understood, don't let anyone touch you here. I don't remember any of those talks. Not even when my dad would be trying to look at my penis to see if I had hair in that area. I remember one awkward time that I had just got out of the tub. I had my towel wrapped around me. He unwrapped it and made a joke about me having a small penis with no hair. I had not even hit puberty yet. Dude was mad weird coming up. He would also ask me harsh, graphic questions at a young age. You really want another man to stick his dick up your ass? Or you really want another man to put his dick in your mouth? In a loud, aggressive tone. He had a hand in bullying me on my path towards homosexuality. Parentheses, remember our words are spells and you have to be careful what you call your kids. After he did his damage, he then turned around and mocked me, judged me, and pretty much left me for dead. I remember being so embarrassed and humiliated, crying on the inside, but not letting the tears slip out because then it would get even worse. I would just say no. I was about 10 or 11 at the time. He would smack me in my face and punch me in my chest, anything to humiliate me. So when you see me going off on Facebook, just know that is how I was talked to coming up. I learned it from somewhere. This is why I'm so blunt today, because that is how my dad was with me. So remember that before you criticize me. Honestly, if you don't bother me, then I won't bother you. People love to try and make me out to be the bad guy because you actually see me go off. I hide nothing. I will expose myself and everyone else involved, baby. No one ever asks, well, what did you do to make him say what he said? Or, well, what part did you play in the mess? I don't just go off for no reason. It's me defending myself, which is my right. People get mad because I defend myself and make them look dumb in the process of them trying to come against me. I am protected. I believe I was set up by my mom or dad, or both, to be molested when I was a child. Why? To block or steal my spiritual gifts, possibly to try and swap destinies with me. Hey, it's a thing. I know it's weird, but it's people out here that really believe that they can do this. I know it's not possible. Destiny comes from the Most High, and I dare a bitch to think they can steal anything from him. I always say if I had not been molested, I would have grown up to be heterosexual. Today I am celibate and have been for some time. The LGBTQIA community don't like to hear stuff like that, but some want you to believe they were born LGBTQIA, in which I don't believe. I believe they tried to sacrifice me for short-lived abundance. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Just because you are a good person and would not do something doesn't mean the whole world operates like that. I used to think, why would anyone do this? I mean, I would never do this to anyone. But baby, after all I've seen in this world, yeah, it was a setup. This is why we don't speak today. They knew what Marcus was doing, and it's no coincidence that I was left in that room with him when we were kids, like a lamb preyed on by wolves while they're downstairs celebrating, playing cards, drinking, eating, in parentheses, absorbing the energy, my energy. I believe it backfired because the Most High has always been with me, even since I was a child. They didn't get much, and that is why the house was so cold and unhappy, which is why they resented me. One of them, my parents, knew that I am a star seed. I am very special. I know that I am chosen. They tried to do everything they could to stop me from embracing my spiritual gifts, in parentheses, my dad, and latch on to me so that I would take care of them later in their old age, in parentheses, my mom. I was a modern day Cinderella. I remember one time my dad came home drunk as a skunk. He got butt-ass naked where he laid on the couch and pissed all on the couch. I cleaned the couch up because the couch is where I would hide my dad's porno tapes that had the trannies on them that I would sneak down from the orange brownish wooden cabinets. One day my mom was cleaning and found them. She put them in the garbage because I had forgot to put them back up in the cabinets. I do believe that my mom's wife is into witchcraft as well, and I believe she has my mom under a spell which would eventually turn her against me. I believe her giving me that car was a distraction to keep me from seeing the plot that was going on, and it worked. So my mom did spells to try to bind me to her, and her wife was doing spells to turn her against me, cracking the fuck up. Too much spell work being done, and the Most High laughing at these foolish people is what broke the spell. Now I see why I was set apart from my family, moving to Minneapolis, like Abraham was set apart from his family, who were moon priests. My mom wanted me to experience heartbreak like she did. It's the classic saying, they don't want to see you do better than them. She never got over the hurt from my dad. She avoids him, would not even speak, and carried a grudge which still gave him power. I learned a lesson from this. Like I said, she says she is happy, and I'm fine with that, but I don't believe her. I do believe she fell for the delusion and is now stuck in a trauma bond that she thinks is love. Her wife has 2 daughters, just like my mom has 2 sons. The oldest of her daughters is really snooty and gives me Karen vibes. She actually reminds me of Dewan. She did not approve of our mom's relationship, and I believe she did not like my mom. Her youngest daughter is cool like me. I do like her younger daughter. She reminds me of Alice from Twilight. My mom could work if she wanted to. She did for a little while, but quit. There are plenty of things she can do, such as Uber/Lyft or a job working from home, data entry, for example. To me, she is lazy with a victim mentality, and I just didn't want to go into battle with her wife's kids because she didn't let their mom work herself to death trying to provide. Because if the roles were reversed, that would be the first thing I would say as I blew fire, Dracarys, all over that little rinky-dink ass, hick-ass racist town. Baby, all that would have been left was the B and the G, okay? Cracking the fuck up. Only green, just gum. So fair is fair. I am all about pulling my weight. Equal give and take in a relationship. And baby, their relationship is not that. But hey, you like it, I love it. Just don't come running to me when your castle implodes. And sometimes it might take a while, but it will happen. You cannot do deceitful things in the dark against your own children and not expect to pay the karmic debt off. If she had continued to stay active and do things that are more healthy, like exercising, she would not have had the injury she has today. She complains about how my uncles don't do much for my grandma B, her words, but she won't even come see her own son. She will go visit her wife's daughter in New York, and she goes other places. One time I drove 10 hours to Ohio to get her, and then 16 hours to Louisiana so we could pick up my grandma B, and then drove 16 hours back to Ohio, and then 10 hours back home to Minneapolis, all while suffering from a urinary tract infection. Too much pop, I know. But she can't come see me. How is that fair? It's not. She wanted me to come to some family reunion in North Carolina, but I said no because I'm done. Another toxic cycle that I am closing out. It's always me spending my money with nothing in return but no more. Like I said, she has made it very clear to me several times that she is not for me and will not choose her family. This is my family, what she said to me, over me. Well, I choose the Most High over her. And by the way, I know I got the better prize.